Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Good morning. Let there be light. Welcome. I can see you. Thank you so much for joining. Please, can you tell me where you're watching from? Welcome. We'll begin in 1 minute. Welcome and welcome and welcome to our success book review. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining, and we begin immediately. I trust you've had a lovely week so far. I have. So today we are going to talk about, review the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is such a very, very wonderful book. Like, it's big. I know a lot of people are afraid of reading big books, but this is a wonderful self-help book. It's one of the best, really, because it talks, it's not just about, the success principles and everything. It's more about personal mastery, the ability to master yourself, which is actually the highest level of mastery. It talks about your personal, values, your personal mission statements and all that. It's an amazing book that I would recommend to everyone. So today, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you a general overview of the book and my personal take from the book. As usual, I have 4 personal, takes that I'm going to share with you today. But endeavor to get this book and read it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. So if you want to be an effective person in your area, your field, even in relationships, your family, then you need to learn about this, 7 habits. Not just learn about it, you need to put them, into practice in your life until it becomes a habit. Because habits are things you do so often that it becomes part of you. Something you do so often, you just keep doing it and doing it until it's second nature. You just wake up and you see yourself doing those things. So the principles shared in these books, they are amazing principles that you can apply in your life consistently to develop as a habit that will make you an effective person in your field or whatever you do. So the author defines habits. Okay, if you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Ogbueli. I am an inspirational reading coach, co-founder of Faith Things Resources. It's an informal educational company that produces, creates platforms and resources for personal and spiritual development. So this platform, Book Review with Ogbueli, is a Faith Things platform. It's a Faith Things creation. We have several book clubs online, and we have e-libraries where you can, download books on personal and spiritual growth. We are very specific about our area of reach. We are only helping people in the area of personal growth and spiritual growth. We believe that those are the basic foundation for success. If you're spiritually developed and personally developed, then you can be able to excel and succeed in whatever field that you find yourself. So, the author, Stephen R. Covey, defines habit as the combination of knowledge, skills, and desire. Like the first time I read this definition, I was like, okay, what is this about? A combination of knowledge, skills, and desires. So it has to be the three of them together. So the knowledge has to do with what do you want to do? What is that thing that you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? That is what the knowledge has to do with. Then the skill has to do with how do you intend to accomplish that? And then the desire has to do with the motivation, the want to. Why do you want to? What is the motivation behind, what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you want to do it? So it's a combination of everything. When it's defined like this, it really doesn't make sense until you put an example to it. So, example, you want to build a great relationship. You're married, you want to have a great relationship with your spouse. So, what to has been covered. That is the knowledge area. You want a great relationship with your spouse. Why do you want to have that great relationship? Because peace and happiness. You want peace and happiness. That is why you want that. You want peace and happiness. Then, the skills. What are the things? How are you going to build that great relationship? You do that by investing time in that relationship, listening, communicating effectively, being generous, with gifts and other things, being present. Because these are the hows. Things don't just fall on us. People want to build great relationships, but they don't want to do the things necessary, required to building that relationship. So, in forming this habit, the three things involved are the knowledge, the skills, and the desire. So we have talked about the knowledge. You want a great relationship with your spouse. You want that great relationship because peace and happiness is important to you. And you invest in that relationship by investing your time, listening, being generous, being present. And then the motivation behind your want is to give and share love. You see how these three components have come together to be able to give you what you want. And as you practice this consistently, it becomes a habit. And it's not just something that you apply in your relationship with your spouse. Once it becomes a habit, then you can apply it in different areas of your life. Relationship with your co-workers, relationship with your neighbors, relationship with your peers. It becomes a habit. So let's move on. I'm going to briefly run through the 7 habits, after which I will share my personal takeaway from this book. The first habit is be proactive. Be proactive. That is the very first habit. This is the ability to create or control situations. A proactive person is someone that has that ability to control a situation. It's not a person that a situation controls. A proactive person is a responsible person. He has that response ability. Responsibility means response ability. You have the ability to respond to a situation. There are different kinds of people. The proactive, then they have the reactive people that, they just react, like things happen and, they freak out, they complain, they blame. But a proactive person is someone that can control a situation. So the first habit is be proactive. Ability to control You don't blame, you don't complain. You make things happen. You don't just, go with the flow, the way everything is happening, and you're just going with the flow. You make things happen. It's an intentional ability to make things happen. You're on top of the situation. You're not just, taking unawares. You make things happen. A proactive person does not try to change or respond to a situation that he has no control over. Example, you have an appointment by 9 a.m. and you wake up early in the morning and it begins to rain, like it's pouring. 6 a.m. it's pouring. You're waiting for the rain to come down. It's not coming down. It's pouring. So a proactive person, thinks up, what am I going to do? He makes up his mind, okay, I'm going to get my raincoat or an umbrella. I'm going to call an Uber, or I'm going to drive. But the other kind of person will begin to complain. This rain, what kind of rain is this? You're complaining about things that you cannot change. A proactive person does not do that. They don't have any business blaming people or trying to complain about things that they have no control over. So, now the second habit is begin with the end in mind. This is based on the power of imagination. Begin with the end in mind. For example, let's say that you are in a funeral, and this is a strange kind of funeral because the person in that coffin is you. So let's assume that you are in that funeral. You have your loved ones, family members all around you. What is that thing that you want them to say about you by the time you come to the end of your life? What would you like to be remembered for? What are the words that you would like people to say, about you when you're done here and you're gone? Start with that end in mind, and then you come back to the future and begin to live and plan your life in accordance to that value that you want people to remember you for when you are gone. It means project your life to the end. Think of the things that you want to accomplish. Think of the value you would like to give to the world. Think about your contribution to your world. And then you come back to the present, and then you begin to plan your life to fit into those values, so that by the time you get to that end, you'll be able to get the same results. This is putting the power of your imagination to work. Anywhere your mind can get to, your body can get to it. The amazing thing about beginning with the end in mind is that it's just like a blueprint, a blueprint of a house. If you want to build a house, you don't just take off and start building the house. You don't do that because you have no idea what you want to do. You have to get an architect to make a blueprint for you, and it's based on that blueprint that you will actually get the engineers and the other people involved to build the house. If you don't have a blueprint for your life, then you don't have any idea of what you want to accomplish, and that is not a good place to be in. And I read a quote that says that people without goals, people without dreams are doomed forever to work for people with dreams and goals. Because if you don't have a dream for your life, you don't have a goal, you don't have a vision for your life, then you're living your life carelessly, and people with dreams can be able to drag you to be able to fulfill their own dreams and goals, because you don't have one for your life. So you begin with the end in mind. The first part of it is be proactive or be responsible. Then the second part is begin with the end in mind. The third habit here is put first things first. The amazing thing about this book is that the first 3 habits talks about your personal mastery. It talks about you. And then the other 4 talks about, your relationship with others. Now, this first 3 talks about your relationship with yourself. This is about you. And then the others talks about the relationship with others. So this third point says, put first things first. You have to focus on your highest priorities. You have to create or have that ability to say no. You know, sometimes people cannot say no. They don't want to hurt other people's feelings. But if you don't have that ability to place your priorities, know the high value things, the things that are important to you, be able to manage your time well, then there will be so many things around you that can be eating up on your time. You can wake up this morning with a goal of, okay, I'm going to do this by this time and this time or this time. That is your goal. And all of a sudden, it is 7 a.m. in the morning and you get a knock at your door. Maybe on a Saturday, you want to do your laundry, you want to cook, you want to shop and all that. All of a sudden, 7 a.m., you get a knock at the door on a Saturday morning, and it's a friend that wants to visit and talk all day. You should have the ability to say no. We can have this chat some other time, but right now, I have this to do. You have to put first things first. The ability to prioritize, the ability to manage your time and life. They say a short definition of time management is actually life management. The ability to manage your life is actually that time management. So the ability, the ability to say no. It is okay to say no, especially when it has to do with things that are not of high value to you. So the third point is put first things first. The fourth point, think win-win. Now we are moving over to our relationship with others. We have to have that abundance mindset. Think win-win. Somebody does not have to lose for me to win something. Somebody does not have to, I don't have to lose for someone else to win. I should have that mindset of thinking win-win, like it's a collaboration. It's a mutual benefit thing. If I'm going to be to engage in some kind of trade or whatever with you, I don't have to lose for you to win. We should have that abundance mindset that there is enough in the world to go round. Enough in the world to go round. The ability to collaborate, mutual benefit and satisfaction for all involved. Example, if you are a person that offers maybe a service and people come to you for advice, you shouldn't think that if you share if you share an idea with someone, that they are going to run off with your idea and you lose. I've seen a lot of people hoard ideas, hoard information, hoard information that can be beneficial to others, simply because they think that other people are going to steal their ideas. We should have that abundance mindset, that mentality that there is so much in the world to go round. If you have something, you have something that you have to offer. You shouldn't be afraid to share. Example, I am an author. The first book I ever wrote, I gave it away free. A book I wrote for children. And a lot of people were like, why should you have so much value in this? Why should you give it free? But my mindset is there is so much more where that thing came from. So much more information where this came from. I know that I can write so much more. I don't have to hurt this one and gather my life all around it as if there is no other ideas or, things that I have to offer. And since then, I've gone on to write several other books, and I'm on a journey of writing 100 books by the end of this year. So there is so much more where it came from. So we have to think abundance. we have to think abundance. I don't have to lose for you to win. You don't have to lose for me to win. Seek first to be understood before, seek first to understand before being understood. That is the fifth point. This has to do with the area of communication. Communication is one of the most important skills, in life. As we grow up, we are taught to read, to write, to speak, but nobody really sits down to teach us how to listen. This point has to do with your ability to listen to people, really truly listen to them to understand, because we are always quick to give advice. Someone is trying to share something with us, we've not really listened to understand the person, and we already have something to say, we already have an advice to give. For me, I feel that this is the highest level of maturity, the ability to sit, listen to someone, understand the person, and support the person, even if you do not completely agree with the person. Ability to listen, understand, and support someone, even without completely agreeing with the person, I believe is the highest level of maturity, because we are all quick to give advice based on the way we see things, based on our personal perspective. People see things the way they are, not really the way that it should be. I see things the way I am, based on my attitude, my values, my makeup, my life experiences. So we can be in the same seminar, listen to the same message, and have different understanding and different perspective, because of the way that we grew up, the way that we've experienced life. So seek first to understand than to be understood. Sometimes in relationships, especially husband and wife, because of the way men are programmed, they just want to give that advice. The way women are programmed, they want to talk. Most times when we don't have this understanding, we have this relationship issues, because the wife is trying to share something, just want to share what happened in the day, and the husband is there dishing out advice. This is how you should do it. But I just want you to listen to me, just understand. This is, for me, the ability to understand people and support them without trying to be understood myself, is a level of maturity that everybody should get to. The sixth point is synergize. Now, this simply means two heads are better than one. Nobody is a sole custodian of all knowledge. By the time we understand that, then it is easier for us to work in teams, work with people. Nobody knows it all, So the ability to work together in unity, teamwork, this is what this point is all about. You can use the human body as an example. This human body is filled with various organs, cells, various parts, but the ability for this human body to work together, that's a synergy, to work together. For me to still be here, healthy, it's so powerful. And this is something that we should all learn to do in our relationship, in the home, in the workplace, or anywhere. Just know that you don't know it all. Two heads are better than one. Everybody has something to contribute. We should have the big dream, the big goal in mind, and then work together to be able to accomplish that big goal. So the final point, the final habit shared in this book is sharpen the saw. So he gave a story of someone that is trying to cut down a tree with a blunt saw, just hitting and hitting and hitting, spending so much time trying to cut down a tree with that saw. And then a neighbor comes and says, hey, why don't you spend some time to sharpen this saw? By the time you spend maybe like an hour or two to sharpen the sword, you can actually cut down this tree in less time than you have invested so far. But the person said, no, I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I need to cut this down. I don't have time. So I think this is something that we also do. We don't have time to read. We don't have time to invest in our personal development. We don't have time to attend seminars, trainings, workshops. But we want to grow. We want to be the best in our field. You don't have time to hone your skill, but you want to be the best in your field. You don't have time to exercise, but you want to have six-pack and be in solid, shape. So this point, is really basically telling us to spend time. If we spend time in the little things, then we can accomplish so much more. Just by reading a book or two on how to develop great habits can help you in your relationship with your spouse, relationship with your co-workers, your staff members, your managers, or your subordinates. It will help you. It won't take you like a week to read a book, but what you learn from this book will help you in the long run. But no, we don't have time. We don't have time to do this, but we have time to mess up our relationships and things that matter to us. So this is what this final point is talking about. So I'll go over the points again. I'm telling you, you need to read this book. It's a big book, so you should know that these few points I've just shared, I didn't do justice to this book at all. So, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. I don't know if this has been of any value to you at all. I've not shared my points, my own takeaway points. These are just the habits, the 7 habits that I just pinpointed, and time is already, we have 2 minutes. So let me run through my personal takeaway points. So the first point that I took away from this book is that your personal values determines the way you act and relate with others. You need to define your values. When I started my journey of personal development, one of the things that really, really, really transformed my life was the understanding and realization that I can define my values. Everybody, you all have your values. I have my personal values, but when it's not clearly defined, then it becomes difficult to live by. You can have the value of respect, but when you've not defined to yourself that respect and love is a core value to me, then you find yourself relating or meddling in situations where people disrespect others. Yes, you're not happy being there, but you don't know why you're still there. But when it is defined that love and respect is a core value to you, then when you find yourself in a situation, you see people disrespecting people, you can stand up and say, oh no, this is not okay. Or you can choose to leave that relationship because this is not your core value. It is so important to define your core values. When you define your core value, it will affect every area of your life, your relationships, even your spouse, the person you choose to get married to. Most people have married the wrong people because they did not define their values, their personal values. Okay, I love this. This is what my life is about. Because it's not well defined, you get married to someone that has an opposite value, and then you start having conflict in the relationship because this person does not believe in this person does not believe in this. Imagine if you have a value of self-improvement. Okay, so you are a graduate, you want to do your master's, you want to go on and do your PhD, and then you get married to someone that does not have value for self-improvement. The person wants you to be a stay-home mom. Let's assume you're a woman. The person wants you to be a stay-home mom, or the person just wants you to start a business or something. You see, you cannot be happy, and the values are conflicting. But if you were able to define your values from the beginning, I have this value for self-improvement. When you meet someone, You'll be able to share, this is my personal value. I am going for my master's. I am going all the way because I have value for self-improvement. And if the person does not have the same value, the person shares it, you know immediately, and you remove yourself from that relationship. That is why it is so important to teach young people to define their values. This is my very first takeaway point. You have to define your personal values. It is so important to your life. You must have a personal vision and mission statement. You know, most organizations, you walk into big organizations, even smaller organizations, you'll be able to see their mission statement, clearly stated, and their vision statement clearly stated. You should be able to have your own life vision and mission statement. What is your vision for your life? What is your mission? Okay, my personal, my vision is to educate and empower people through knowledge. And the mission statement, my mission is how you intend to do it. What I'm doing right now is one of it. Because I have been able to define my vision in life, that is why I am able to do this. If my vision is not clearly defined, then I won't have the plans and the strategies and the things that I need to pursue that vision. So you must have a personal vision and mission statement. You can start by, you sit down and think, how would I like to be remembered when I am gone? Like I mentioned when I started, you're in a funeral, your funeral, and people are all around you. What are those things that you would want them to say about you? What are the things that you want to be remembered for in your life? Then you come back and begin to live and plan your life in accordance to that vision. So that is one way you can do that. You must have your personal vision and mission statement clearly defined. Now the third point, my third takeaway point is, if you can go there in your mind, then you can go there in your body. The power of imagination. Your imagination is a gift that God has given you to create, design, and create and design the future that you desire. Your imagination is a gift from God. People think that imagination, when we talk about imagination, visualization, that it's a new age thing. It is not a new age thing. Imagination is a gift that God has given you. It is through imagination that God created this earth. Before God said, let there be light, there was darkness and chaos all over the world. But God saw light in his mind, and then he said it, let there be light. If God did not see light, there is no way he would have said it, and there is no way that light that he saw in his mind would have appeared. So God is our example. If God uses his imagination, then we, created in the image and likeness of God, should be able to use our own imagination to create the future that we so desire. Anywhere you cannot get to in your mind, you cannot be able to get to that place in your body. If you cannot see yourself making great impact, transforming lives, living a beautiful life, if you can't see it, if you cannot see it in your imagination, you probably not get there. And if you ever get there, it's because someone else saw it and dragged you to it. Anywhere you cannot get to in your imagination, you cannot get to in your body. If you cannot desire it, then you cannot have it. So you have to use your imagination. This is the third point. The fourth and the final point, my takeaway is personal mastery. When I like I said, when I started my journey of personal development, that was actually when I was able to clearly define my values, to understand myself. And because I'm able to understand myself, I am free. I don't think about people's opinion of me anymore. I don't think about people's opinion of myself. Like, because everybody has an opinion of what you should be. But if it's not the opinion that you have of yourself, it shouldn't make any sense. It shouldn't mean anything to you, because they have that opinion based on their own personal experiences or their personal expectations of you. But what opinion do you have of yourself? Do you understand yourself? So when I started my journey of, personal development, I started thinking about, why is it that there are some things I like, there are some things I don't like? Why do I like these things and why don't I like these things? Like what I'm doing, I love to teach. I love to share knowledge. I just love it. And I realized that I've always loved it. When I was in school, if I hear something, if I read something that really blesses me or inspires me, if it's in a book, I go and get extra copies of that book and I give them away. If it's not something I can buy, I go and make copies and give away. I've always done this. What I'm doing now, I've always done it. But I didn't know that it was, something significant. But when I started my journey of personal growth, I realized that this is actually a value that I have. I have value for empowerment. Personal empowerment is a core value for me. I have value for respect. I have value for excellence. It's a personal core value. I have value for love. It's a personal core value. That is why if I find myself in a situation where I see people that are disrespectful, like it rubs me off in a wrong way, I hate injustice. I didn't know these things because I did not clearly define them. But when I finally defined them, it was easy for me to stand in situations that are against my values and say, no, this is not okay. No, this is not okay. So I've really lost my thought what I wanted to say. But personal mastery is the highest level of mastery. And you can only get to that level when you know your values clearly defined. You have a vision and a mission statement. You have your goals, you have your dreams. That is how you can get to that point. So I am going to stop here. I hope this review has been valuable to you. I will still refer you back to this book, to read this book. This is a very, very amazing classic on self-help. Please invest in your personal development. It goes a long way in every area of your life. If you don't have it, you can't give it. Especially as a parent, I discovered that the best thing that I've done for myself is to invest in my personal growth and my spiritual growth, because now that I have it, it is easier for me to impact it on my children, because parenting is 90% impactation and 10% whatever you say. If you're not it, you cannot get your children to be it. If you're not it, you cannot get your children to be it. You can't give what you don't have. In my house, I have 3 girls, and I know that these my 3 girls would definitely, make up and wear, trousers and all that. Imagine coming out and telling my girls, no makeup in this house, no trousers in this house. Whereas I do makeup and I do wear trousers. They will not understand it. I can say it, but as long as I can say it to them, but they will not obey. If I don't want them to make up anymore or wear trousers or anything, then I have to throw away all the makeups and all the trousers in the house and know that this is a non-makeup, no trouser wearing household. That is when they can be able to live by it, because they live by the examples that you set. So I'm going to end today. Thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on Thursday as I review an amazing book by Andrew Womack. You've already got it. So I'll see you on Thursday, the same time, 10 a.m. So keep reading, keep learning, keep growing, and keep earning. Bye for now.